Once upon a time, a plane took off from India carrying brothers who would write a chapter in African history. It carried the Gupta brothers, Ajay the eldest, Atul, and Rajesh the youngest, often known as Tony. It was 1993 and South Africa was on the cusp of freedom. Their father, back in India, encouraged the brothers to go and set up in the new South Africa, claiming it was going to be an economic powerhouse, a new United States in Africa. On the ground, the brothers started small with a computer assembly and distribution business called Sahara Computers. Their wealth grew, and so did their influence. They soon had a very big friend in a very high place.
To set the record straight on operations at the Optimum coal mine owned by BEE company Together Exploration and Resources, in which Oakbay has a 29% shareholding, and its relationship with Eskom.
And the kind of institutions we are talking about are vital to any state anywhere in the world. Destroying them can happen overnight.
There is a serious conflict of interest, and in fact defeating the ends of justice by those who are in certain positions of power, who made it possible for these vultures to make a meal of our democracy.
Yes, and it happened to many of us. All the journalists who were writing about state capture or who were interested in this new crony network, really you could see almost daily there would be these largely driven on Twitter and social media, in quite insulting images of them made. And only now do you understand that it was actually a constructed campaign.
Interesting things to come out of testimony today is that President Cyril Ramaphosa, when he was out of politics, was actually the BEE partner when Glencore acquired Optimum, and this through a company called Lexcel, which had about a 9% stake in Glencore's acquisition of the mine. Karima, that's a very interesting point I think a lot of people miss about the history of Optimum and Glencore's relationship to the mine.
Eskom wants to suggest is that they wanted to bring in new players. They wanted to bring in empowerment players, and of course the fact that Cyril Ramaphosa was a BEE.
We are not agreeing with Glencore. When I say that we are not agreeing with Glencore and we will not entertain their request, it could sound like I'm actually not agreeing doing a deal that Mr. Ramaphosa is involved in.
Come closer to the...
They sold the stake of this company that they had bought, Mr. Ramaphosa, as their BEE partner.
Essentially, the Optimum coal deal, and I think the confusion there is very clear to me. Our decision to purchase Optimum coal mine started in June last year. We've had several rounds of negotiation with the then owners Glencore, and from August, when the business rescue practitioners came in, they joined the negotiations. In those negotiations, Glencore broke talks twice to pursue other purchasers, and came back to the table because there were no other viable options. So we bought the mine. Before we signed the agreement, we had to provide proof of funding, which we did. All parties were happy that we could fund the transaction.
Technically, while he was chairman of the war room, he was in fact, strictly speaking, in a shareholder. Or if the Competition Commission had not approved that transaction, any financial benefit derived would have accrued to him.